Rick, why did you lie to your daughter?
So I wouldn't have to come here.
Why didn't you want to come here?
Because I don't respect therapy. Because I'm a scientist. Because I invent, transform, create, and destroy for a living. And when I don't like something about the world, I change it. And I don't think going to a rented office in a strip mall to listen to some agent of averageness explain which words mean which feelings has ever helped anyone do anything. I think it's helped a lot of people get comfortable and stop panicking, which is a state of mind we value in the animals we eat, but not something I want for myself. I'm not a cow. I'm a pickle. When I feel like it, so... You asked.
Pickle Rick, let's break this down. And there's a new round of that merch giveaway for Zen Monkey Studios. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber, leave a comment on this video. So as the writers explained, the first part of the episode was sort of Fievel Goes West, getting sucked down the drain as a pickle. Then it turned into the Breaking Bad episode where he gets stuck in the RV in the desert and they have to make that potato battery.
Huh? Well, think about it. A battery is a galvanic cell. It's no more than an anode and a cathode separated by an electrolyte, right? Right.
Just going through the extreme steps that it would take for him to engineer himself a way out of this situation. And then once he escapes out of the toilet, it turns into a big parody of 80s, 90s action films. So I think that everybody recognized that Danny Trejo was playing Jaguar, who's basically like your typical 80s, 90s action hero. It was probably one of the best parts of the episode. Can't wait to see where they bring Jaguar back. I love the end tag too, which is just meant to be like a funny aside. Like they're off on some crazy adventure, they're about ready to die. That is why you don't go to therapy, Morty, because Jaguar will come save you, and you only would have met him if you didn't go to therapy. If you really want to be a conspiracy theorist too, Jaguar's character design looked like something out of Gravity Falls. There's always been a lot of Gravity Falls Easter eggs. During the first season, there was that portal Easter egg. During the second season, Bill Cipher pops up. And then during season 3, episode 1, you see the Mabel and Dipper Morty in the background. So there's always lots of Gravity Falls crossing over with Rick and Morty. You could say that there's a universe within Rick and Morty that is Gravity Falls. So it's not so weird that Jaguar looks like he's from Gravity Falls. Susan Sarandon, of course, played Dr. Wong. She did an amazing job of deconstructing Rick. Like, she sat there and took all of his shit. This equally artful takedown of why therapy is crap, but then immediately she comes back with the idea that he's the most powerful mind in the universe, but he's completely trapped by all these human emotions that he doesn't want to deal with, and it's all of his own choosing. All he has to do is choose. You chose to come here. You made a choice to do this. In real life, Dan Harmon always makes a lot of jokes about his time with his therapist, as well as the people around him and how he drives people to therapy and what they say about him. So he's sort of making fun of himself with this meta commentary about Rick in the episode. So 50-50, you could take either one of their perspectives. They're both meant to be correct. Therapy's crap or therapy does help people. But if you do have a problem with eating poop, please call Dr. Wong. I love the way they kept working that in there. Even Morty picks the book up. Oh my God, people are eating poop in this. So a lot of you did remember after Goldenfold's little funny moment, how long have you been eating poop? That during the interdimensional cable episode, there was a universe where everybody ate poop. So it's a bit of a subtle wink at that. But they also did an improv episode that I included in one of my promo videos where they're talking about poop. So maybe they just think a lot about poop in the writer's room. Freaked out a little bit when I heard the Shoney's reference. I know there are a lot of theory crafters that talk about Rick being in a coma. Maybe this is all happening in his brain. The theory that this is all still happening in the Shoney's, that we've never left there since the first episode, is sort of a spin-off of that. It's all happening in Rick's mind because the Shoney's is a place that Rick created within his mind. So loved how they circled back around to that. I wonder how many more times we're going to hear about Shoney's this season. At the beginning of the episode, there's still a picture of Snuffles above their toilet, but you remember that the Snuffles that took over their family and turned into Lawnmower Dog was from the Cronenberg world, which Rick also mentions during the episode when he's talking to Jaguar about his daughter. He says he abandoned one of his daughters on an Earth that was taken over by mutants, so that's Cronenberg world. So that's the second time we've heard about it this season. And I love the way he dodges Jaguar's question right after that. Wait a minute, do I have infinite daughters too? Because the one on this Earth has already been killed. Nope, just me. I'm the only one that has multiple daughters. But the other big guest star during the episode you may not have recognized right away is Peter Serafinowicz. He's the guy that's playing the new version of the Tick. He played the Hans Gruber character. It felt a little die-hardy, like it was all meant to be this 90s action movie parody. But when he started talking about the $100 million in bonds, I was like, oh, wait a minute, wasn't that the plot of Die Hard when they were trying to steal the bonds out of the safe? But the Jaguar stuff, they're keeping him locked up and forcing him to work for them because they have his daughter. That's the plot of Commando, big Schwarzenegger movie. It kind of makes you want to watch some of these movies after you spot these Easter eggs. When Jaguar's chasing him down the hall, he does the Van Damme splits, which I think is actually written into Van Damme's contracts in all the 80s and 90s movies that he did. He has to do the splits at least once per movie. If you heard a very familiar scream during the episode, that was the henchman doing the StarCraft Terran Academy scream. Very identifiable, but also sometimes confused with the Wilhelm scream, the other big Hollywood funny scream that people work into movies and TV shows. The rat suit construction scene was just a big send-up of the Iron Man movie, just this giant bioengineered device designed to graft rat parts onto his body. Oh shit, that Pickle has a rat suit. And at the beginning of the episode, when he almost fries in the sun on the driveway and says this is the equivalent to a normal person dying on the toilet, he's actually talking about Elvis. Elvis died while he was on the crapper. If you do anything in this life, make sure that you do not die while you're on the shitter. Let me know in the comments though if you spotted any other Easter eggs or references that I didn't include in the video. Overall, it was probably my favorite episode of the season, but there's 7 more, so I'm expecting something else to top it. There aren't any more breaks in the season as far as I know. We know the first 8 episodes now, so next week will be episode 4. I'll do a promo video for that in the next day or two, but next week's episode is Vindicators 3, The Return of World Ender. It's a bit of a Marvel movie parody. There's a line of dialogue where Morty comes running in, we need to help him out, and Rick's like, I don't answer literal calls to action. So fun fact from behind the scenes, Dan Harmon actually did a little punch-up on the Doctor Strange movie. Like, he actually worked for Marvel for a little bit to help him out with a couple scenes. So the week after that is Whirly Durly Conspiracy, then Rest and Rick's Laxation, which we actually got the scene for. I'll add a link to that video at the end of this, because they've already released the cold open. Then after that is Tales from the Citadel, and then the ABCs of Beth. So if you couldn't tell, they're spending a lot of time this season dealing with a lot of backstory, Beth and Rick's relationship, which at times is way more funny than his relationship with Morty. I think they focused so heavily on Morty the first 2 seasons. Now they're trying to broaden that out a little bit. And how hilarious is it that Summer just cares about getting high? I just want to be known as a person who just likes to get high. Huffing the glaze from pottery enamel, and Morty peeing his desk. They make a couple jokes about it, but they kind of brush over it because they focus mostly on Beth while they're in that therapy session, but that's actually pretty serious, so they're being pretty dark. And I believe that this is the first episode that we're seeing Rick spend most of the time not in human form, not including Council of Ricks episodes, because you have the infinite versions of Rick. So of course there's going to be a couple versions of Rick that don't look human. Congratulations to the latest merch giveaway winner, Archangel Lopez. Please private message me on the back end of my channel so I can get your contact details. While you wait for everything, click here for the trailer for next week's Game of Thrones, and you can click here for my Rick and Morty episode 2 video. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.